Hello and welcome. This guide is brought to you by the team at My Tax Accountant, and today we're tackling one of the biggest costs for working parents in the UK, childcare. We're going to break down the one thing that could save you literally thousands of pounds a year, the Childcare Code. So let's dive right in.
Okay, let's just start with a number that probably makes most parents wince, £14,000. Yep, that's the average yearly cost for a full-time childcare spot here in the UK. It's a massive figure, and it puts a huge squeeze on the family budget.
But what if I told you there's a simple 11-digit code that could slash that bill, sometimes by more than half? Well, that key actually exists. It's called a Childcare Code, and it's your ticket to some serious government support.
So, here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll explain what these codes are. Then, we'll look at the different schemes you can get. After that, a step-by-step guide on how to apply and, crucially, how to manage your code once you have it. And finally, we'll talk about where to go for expert help.
All right, first up, your guide to childcare codes. Let's get to the bottom of what this is all about. You can think of it as your golden ticket, the official proof you need to unlock all that government help with your childcare costs.
So what is it? Well, it's a special 11-digit number, and it's completely unique to you. You simply give this code to your nursery, your childminder, or your preschool, as long as they're an approved provider. They check it, and boom, you've unlocked access to things like free childcare hours or tax-free childcare.
And listen, you are definitely not alone in this. We're talking over 1.5 million kids in the UK right now who are benefiting from these government schemes. This isn't some tiny, obscure program. It's a major support system that thousands and thousands of families count on every single day.
Okay, now for the good stuff. What can you actually get? It's not a one-size-fits-all deal. The government has a few different options on the table. The trick is figuring out which one is the perfect fit for you and your family. Let's break them down. So take a look at this. You've got different schemes for different ages. There are 15 free hours for 2-year-olds if you're on certain benefits. Then every single 3- and 4-year-old in England gets 15 hours. The big one that a lot of people go for is the 30 hours for working parents of 3- and 4-year-olds. And now there's even 15 hours for working parents with kids as young as 9 months. Plus, there's this other thing called Tax-Free Childcare, where the government adds $2 for every $8 you save. The main point is there's a lot of help out there.
So what does this actually mean for a real family? Let's talk about Sarah. She's an accountant, her husband's a freelancer, so their income can be a bit up and down. They weren't sure they'd qualify, but they applied for the 30-hour scheme and got it. For them, it was a game changer. It wasn't just about saving nearly 500 quid a month, it was about the huge drop in stress levels.
And Sarah's story isn't a one-off, not at all. When you actually do the sums, the savings are massive. For a family taking full advantage of the 30 hours free childcare scheme, you could be saving up to £6,900 a year. That is a huge amount of money back in your pocket.
Right, you've seen what's on offer, you've seen the potential savings, so how do you actually get your hands on this code? This is the core of it all, so let's walk through it step by step, no jargon.
Okay, before you even think about opening your internet browser, let's get you prepped. Trust me, this will save you a massive headache. You're going to need your national insurance number and your partner's too. If you're self-employed, grab your UTR. You'll also need your child's birth certificate number and some proof of what you earn. Get all this stuff together first.
It really all comes down to these 5 simple steps. First, pop onto the Childcare Choices website and use their quick checker. Second, get all your documents ready like we just talked about. Third, apply online using your government gateway account. Fourth, you submit and wait. It's often instant, which is great, but it can't take up to a week. And the final, most important step, give that 11-digit code to your childcare provider.
Here's a little pro tip for you, and seriously, listen to this one. Do this on a laptop or a proper computer, not your phone. The government website, let's just say it can be a bit clunky on a small screen. You really don't want to make a mistake just because the formatting was weird. A bigger screen just makes everything easier. Okay, stop what you're doing and listen up, because this is probably the most important slide here. These dates are non-negotiable. To get your funding for the term, you must apply by the deadline. If you miss that August 31st deadline by just 1 day, you get 0 funding for the entire autumn term. That could cost you well over £1,000. So seriously, put these dates in your calendar, now.
So, you've got your code. Amazing. But the work isn't quite over. Now you've got to manage it. And this part is really important, because if you don't, you could lose your funding altogether.
And that brings us to this word, reconfirmation.
Basically, every 3 months, you just have to log into your childcare account online and digitally sign to say, yep, everything's still the same. My job, my income, my address, it's all correct. It takes 5 minutes, but it is absolutely mandatory.
And please don't ignore the reminders. They'll send you an email or a text about a month before it's due. If you miss that reconfirmation window, your code will expire and your nursery will stop getting the government funding. And that means you'll have to pay the full bill yourself.
You know how life is. Things change. And when they do, you have to tell HMRC by updating your account. We're talking about big stuff, like if your income changes a lot, maybe you get a promotion that pushes you over that £100,000 limit, or if you're a freelancer and have a quiet few months. Also, if you change jobs or if your relationship status changes. Keeping it all up to date is so important.
Look, we've gone through a lot here, and for many people, the process is pretty straightforward. But what if it's not? What if you're self-employed, or you're a director of your own company, or your income is just all over the place? That's when you might want some expert help.
Trying to figure out exactly what counts as income, especially if you run your own business, can be a real minefield. The rules can get complicated fast. That's exactly what the team at My Tax Accountant specializes in. They live and breathe this stuff, so they can make sure your application is spot on and that you get every penny of support you're entitled to. So if any of this feels a bit overwhelming, or you just want to be 100% sure you're doing it right, just get in touch. You can WhatsApp or call the team at My Tax Accountant on 07854 255375. That's 07854 255375. Or drop them an email at info@mytaxaccountant.co.uk. And hey, while you're at it, pop over to YouTube and subscribe to their channel for more handy guides just like this one.
So, I'll just leave you with this one question to think about. With thousands of pounds of help on the table every year, are you really sure you're getting every single penny you're entitled to? If there's even a tiny bit of doubt, a quick chat could make all the difference. Thanks so much for watching.